Hi everyone, I'm Maimah Karmo and you're watching Breathe TV, a safe space to navigate your cancer journey. You're watching part 2 of my talk with TrevisMichelle, a beautiful and powerful warrior. I hope you're as inspired by her as I am. So we always start each show with a meditation that helps to ground us and to ground me. I always say if you're driving, don't do this. Close your eyes, okay? But you can be in your bed or in a chair and put a hand over your heart and a hand over your belly. We'll start with this. I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
I trust in my journey.
I trust in my journey.
I have all that I need.
I am all that I need.
I am never alone.
I am never alone.
I am safe in my life.
I am safe in my life.
My friends and family surround me with so much love.
My friends and family surround me with so much love.
I rest in the arms of angels.
I rest in the arms of angels.
My heart is still beating.
My heart is still beating.
I am still breathing.
I am still breathing.
Love is my frequency.
Love is my frequency.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So would you be able to share the surgeries and then that recovery process from that?
Absolutely. The surgery, I have to say, Dr. Gogley, Dr. Chen, who is my rad onc, everyone there was just so helpful and made sure I had all the information. Now, did I hear everything? No.
Right.
And they would tell me over and over, and sometimes I'd be annoyed because they kept repeating it. But it's because you will forget.
But they're good doctors.
And they were.
They know you're going to be
team.
zoned out some kind of way. Right?
Exactly. So when I had my surgery, she says, I'm going to let you know, people are going to say, oh, they're going to tell you their stories about a hysterectomy. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, that's it. You'll be fine. She says, this is not going to be you. It's going to take you a long time to, recover. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then she explained, most of the time, if you have an earlier stage of cervical cancer, the treatment plan is for you to have a hysterectomy. And then you go on with your life. Right? And you're tested. And they come back and they keep checking you every 6 months or a year. You're fine. In my case, they had to do the radiation because what they have found in research, thankfully, that if you add just a little bit of chemotherapy, cisplatin, which is a big gun, even though it's not the largest dosage, it's still a big gun. Right? Chemotherapy. When you add that with radiation, for some reason, and she says the doctors, we really don't know why it works, but it kills it. It eradicates it. So that's what happened. So even though it went into a little bit of a lymph node, it was gone.
So you had surgery, and what kind did you have?
I had a complete, or they call radical hysterectomy. So that means everything was removed, my fallopian tubes, my uterus, my cervix. I do have a vagina, but there's a piece at the top of the vagina. I can't remember, forget the brain fog, but it's a band that's there. The cuff, that's what it was. They were able to save the cuff at the top. So having that, I did go on YouTube University just so that I could see if there was anyone else that looked like me. I was so desperate to find someone who looked like me that had a hysterectomy.
It's a hard thing to see that your body looks different and how you're going to perceive yourself and how will a potential partner perceive you. And so how did you deal with that? Because you made the right choices at the right times. You had a great team, great hospital, and you had great support. But then you come back, you're like, well, geez, I have like a piece of my body's missing.
Right. And in my case, several organs missing.
Yeah.
And, you still have your bladder there. And what happens, your intestines, which we call our colon, but you have an upper and a lower, it's like 6 feet, and it goes in like this. Well, once they removed those organs, because they were had so much radiation, and my radiation isn't like, yes, when you're near microwave, that's radiation, right? You go through the airport's radiation. No, mine, I literally would set off alarms. And they told me you can't go to certain buildings because you will set off an alarm. That's how much radiation they had put in me. That's how strong the radiation was. But it wouldn't affect other people, but it would affect, machines. So doing the surgery, I had to have two teams. I had to have the urology team and my oncologist, my surgical oncologist, which I was so blessed because it was the same person. And that's because it melts. It kind of sticks everything together. Radiation burns, right? So you see your food. Well, everything was stuck together. So it took 4.5 hours to separate my organs first before they could even remove them. And that's why, so with your bladder, you can have incontinence, you can have overreactive bladder. Some people have prolapse, meaning that it would fall. So I was just so blessed that my doctor went ahead. Some doctors don't do that. She planned ahead. And as a Black woman, we know that our skin, keloids, you can't see the inside. But I knew, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a scar, fine, but what is it going to look like? And that's why I went on YouTube University to see if anybody, because people show you everything, right?
Everything.
And I could only find one woman, and it was Muffin. I forget the full name, but something Muffin. But she was just sharing it as she was going through it, but she didn't have cancer. So at least I had somebody that looked like me, and she told me, right, and those things that I needed. My team told me, yes, you'll need Gas-X, but the pillows and things, she shared that information, and I could see like the scarring. Again, Dr. Gockley says, you're going to be on television shows. You are going to be speaking and writing.
You said you hadn't gotten screened for how many years?
A decade.
A decade? And then you talked about your team. You keep saying how great your team is, but many people they don't have a team.
Right.
They don't go to a doctor, but only when they're sick. Why is it so important to get screenings and to get them done regularly? And also, why is it important to have a good healthcare team?
Well, screenings can save your life, literally. Had I not gone, I wouldn't be sitting here because my tumor had grown to such a large space and it was trying to escape out of my cervix so that it can actually go metastatically to other parts of my body. It was going out of the canal.
I wouldn't be alive now. It all starts with us. Somewhere along the line, there may be someone in your life that told you weren't enough, you weren't important enough, who made you feel that way, and you accepted it. You leaned into what they said. So as women, and women of color and women, all women, but we're told to be so doggone strong that if we do feel that we need to go to the doctor, this shows some sort of weakness. Or we're so busy taking care of other people, right? Or we're people pleasing. So we put ourselves last on the list instead of putting ourselves first as a priority number one. So going for your screenings, yes, and it's uncomfortable. Honestly, nobody wants to hear the results if they're not positive. And
but if
that
you don't
will
go,
block you.
But if you don't go, you get worse results,
True, but
sometimes that's okay for people. And that's one thing I had to understand and accept as an emergency room nurse. Some people would be so upset. How come you're not going? And, you have diabetes, or you have, especially people that are going for dialysis, and they get all upset.
This medical team, your friends, you're not doing the right things. You get tired, and you don't know what shoes they walked in prior to getting here. So we're judging them.
Well, and you mentioned the trauma as well. People have had trauma that they've been through, right? And I know we talk about this a lot in our culture and as Black people now, but there's so much that we have to deal with and be strong about that you just think, I got it, I'll be fine. And you have a lot on your plate. Like I was single parenting my daughter. I was, working a job where I might go to work at 8 o'clock, come home at 5. Sometimes I had side jobs. But if you have a lot on your plate, you could just say, well, you know what, I have too much to do. The day's over then. You're tired. There's dinner. There's bath time. People might say, well, I have a girls' night once a month, or I do a massage once a month, or I get my nails done. But your doctor appointments are as important as your nails, your hair, your facial, or they're more important. So when you're scheduling your mani-pedi every 2 weeks, whatever it is, when you're scheduling your massage, you're scheduling your hair, whatever, like make that, your teeth, your ears, your eyes, if you feel a throat issue, like whatever it is, your breast, cervical, like get everything done. Just, it should be a part of your self-care routine, because it is self-care. Healthcare is self-care.
It is. I'm going to be a little bit of a devil's advocate.
Yeah,
it
please.
sounds great when we say we should do these things. However, our healthcare system doesn't always help us with that. They don't always make it easy. And I don't want people to walk away from this message that if you don't do these things that, well, I'm not going to do it now because I'm not good enough and I didn't do it. I missed the appointment. Don't worry about that. Give yourself grace
100%.
and get it done. Write it down in your phone. That's what I have to do now, because if I don't put it in my phone as a note, my daughter taught me that it will not get done because I will not remember. And when someone tells you no, that doesn't mean that it's absolutely no. It just means they're not the right person. Yeah. Because our insurance does not allow you. For instance, I have to take a medication, and a doctor I went to, because I have I'll share it, I have overactive bladder. I'm like, what the heck? Why? And it's because of all of the radiation, their side effects. And the first urologist I went to, she came in the room. She never looked at me. She was talking 50 miles a minute. And I had just lost my father in February of this year. And I could have just snapped on her. And I just had to stop and breathe. And I said, excuse me, I need you to slow down. Introduce yourself. I just lost my father. And you're speaking way too fast. It smacked her such in the face. She literally sat down and started over.
That's so
but
powerful.
I had to be present for myself. I had to let that person know what my needs are.
Exactly.
And I'm sharing this story so that other people know. You have to let people know what your needs are. You can't assume that they're a nurse and a doctor, that they're all knowing, and that they don't have a husband who maybe just pissed them off, or a teenager.
Well, and they also have their own stuff happening, right?
They're lifing too.
And I love what you said about when I said, make the appointments, because it is hard. Right. When I made my appointments the other day, I literally had to I was working, but I had to make for my daughter and myself, and I have a list of things I have to do. Mm-hmm. And trust me, after like an hour calling here, being put on hold, oh, you can't go here, the other appointments have an hour away, this other one's over here, call the insurance. I got frustrated. Right. So, I'm giving you all a list, but I'm not saying that it's easy. The healthcare system is not going to work for us, and the insurance companies don't work for us either. Right. But it's our job, like you said, to tell people, like, listen, slow your roll. Slow your roll. I can't hear what you're saying. I'm going through my own stuff, and talk to me in a way I can understand. Because for them, the lingo is it's how they talk. I don't know what you just said to me. You could talk 2 miles an hour or 0 miles an hour, but the words you use, I don't understand them.
Right.
We talked about having feminine cancers that are more intimate, like the gynec, and it's very traumatic, and it can cause just stress, because let's say you already had a trauma, now you have this issue, and you think, well, it's my fault. How would you advise somebody who's going through potentially like wondering if they have something and or are diagnosed, with realizing that nothing is your fault? Like, we're lifing it, and then things happen. How did you deal with your trauma and being where you are today now?
I spent 3 days snotting, crying, cursing, screaming, never asking God why, beating myself up, how did I let this happen? And you're a registered nurse and you know better. And I leaned into it. We're so busy. Oh, you're going to feel better. Oh, don't blame yourself. It's not about blaming yourself, but it is about taking accountability for your own actions. I didn't ask for cancer. It's not like I really did something to get this, right? Yeah. However, my feelings were my feelings and they were mine. And in order for me to move past it, I had to deal with it, like the elephant in the room. After those 3 days, I wiped my tears, wiped my snot, and I was like, hey, wipe my hands, let's go. So the best advice I can give someone is to don't let anybody devalue your feelings, including yourself. Spend that time crying. Don't let it last more than 3 days, because nothing's worth more than 3 days. But you do need
To get it out, and you do it alone, not telling somebody else what you're feeling, you know.
Now, if you have a therapist, yes, absolutely. Use 988, because some people, it's so devastating that they may want to end their life. We don't know what other things are going on in people's lives. So we have the number 988 that you can then call someone and you can share it with them. But don't stay in that place of blaming yourself. But don't also overlook it. Because what I did, because I'm in therapy. Again, I've been in therapy for other things, and I have my tool chest, and I whip those out. But this cancer journey thing is a little different.
It's a lot. Yeah.
So going to a therapist for that, I'm able to, they help me to navigate it. People think oh my goodness, you look so good. You look so strong. My girlfriend called me one day, for instance, from California, and just said, I apologize. And I'm like, girl, why are you apologizing to me? Meanwhile, I'm on the pillow, like, what you apologizing? I can barely lift my head. And she says, you make going through cancer look so easy. And it really knocked me upside my head. I'm thinking, girl, ain't nothing easy about it. But because I didn't share, because I don't want everybody to feel what I'm feeling. I lost friends. I lost relationships because of going through cancer, me going through it. But because they haven't dealt with death and health issues of their own, they couldn't have me around. But it worked out. So when you're going through it, allow yourself to feel so that you can fight it. If you don't call it, I don't believe in claiming things, but you have to call it what it is.
Exactly.
Get the help that you need. And for those of us that are going through cancer, or even someone who's going through cancer and you're their caretaker, take care of yourself. And you do need, your mental health is number one, because it can take you out. There were times I was in that dark place and I was like, God, I know you said it's curable. I heard that, but I just don't know how much more I can take because the treatments were so grueling. And now being on the other side, thank gosh, no more evidence of disease. I celebrate a year after surgery, July 12th. However, the pain that I have, I'm like, there's no tumor. So why should I have pain now? My doctors are like, yeah, you're going to still have pain. It's going to take time, your nerves. You had a very, very large tumor. You were not like everyone else. And I didn't realize that. She said, you just don't get it. You've been through a lot of trauma. I really wasn't accepting that cancer was a trauma. And I'm like,
it's a whole other therapy couple sessions, right? Because you just think that you can't accept the trauma, because it is. And
now I've leaned into that. But you would think, but that's the way people talk to you. You're a registered nurse. Stop saying that. I'm TrevisMichelle. I'm a human being. I'm a woman. And, with the same feelings. And you mentioned like when people are older, and I'm going to let people know, like my birthday is July 24th and I'm turning 60. Does that mean that my life is over? No, it's just beginning.
Every day's a new
right?
start.
And we don't have to look the way our other grandmothers and other women looked at that years. There's Botox now. There's collagen now.
You went there.
Get your BBLs. There's, get whatever it takes for,
for you,
right? You can have your hair, your weaves, whatever. So it's how you feel inside. And it's because I feel good for the first time in, my whole life going through this cancer journey. I'm worth it.
You learn to love yourself.
And so everyone around me, y'all were just getting the overflow.
I love it. You're so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. I feel the same way. Like going through this really taught me how to love myself. But this healing for me is a self-love journey. I need to learn to love myself. That means being gentle with myself, give myself compassion and love and listening and telling people what I need, right? Because I've had friends, who weren't there tell me later on, you made it look easy. And I said, I was struggling, but I didn't. My dad always said to me, don't look like how you feel. Get up in the morning, put on that wig, put on your makeup. I went to chemo in like heels and lipstick. I was like all dog. I wasn't going to look the way I felt. And it helped me though. It helped me to get through it too, So one of the things you were just talking about was your support team. How can you advise somebody who's watching on how to deal with this with or without a significant other in their lives?
Well, I'm single, and I can tell you it's not easy, being comfortable with yourself first. And it's still scary. And you're asking me this when I'm still going through it. So I'm very transparent because I've always felt that my being uncomfortable for a few minutes, if it's going to help someone else, I'm going to do it because that's part of being
100%.
advocacy. Right. And you were mentioning your dad, and I have my grandmother who's right here with me and actually right here also.
Isn't my dad just...
Oh my goodness, yes, because it's our two heartbeats together, cervical cancer and breast cancer. You know, she always said also, no matter what, you never let them see you sweat.
With a relationship, that's something that's new. I opened myself up, but that person really wasn't able to handle
what I have to go through. And there's certain things I can't do. Like, I'm not available to have intercourse, and this is very personal, but I'm not yet. And my team is like, we have to get you to that point. But because my body was so traumatized, it's not an option for me at this time.
Right. And when you meet somebody, at some point they want to be intimate. If you can't do that, finding other ways to give or get pleasure is important. So what would you tell someone who's like trying to get back out there, and if all the things done are removed, like how did you even tell somebody like, yo, dude, here's what's happening right now? How do you even have the conversation?
With the young man that I thought I was going to be dating, I really didn't think I was dateable. And as, you know, empowering as I am and confident as I am and resilient, I just didn't feel I was dateable yet. And so he talked to me and we just had friendship and relation, you know, just talking, but I didn't have any intention of trying to date. And so he made me so comfortable, and he already knew my story. I mean, I'm not trying to date you, so you can be very open, right?
Right.
I don't have to be closed. I don't have to sugarcoat, hide anything. And then we started dating, and then, you know, I say his real person showed up. He had the representative, and then you find the real person. And what people don't realize, for those of us going through a cancer journey, where whatever stage we are on that journey, when you reject us or we feel that way, or you just walk away or you ghost or whatever it is, cheat, whatever the situation is for that, it hits us differently because our reserve isn't always as strong as it is going to be. And you open yourself up. So with that being said, take your time opening up. I don't feel that anyone that you're speaking to has to know that you are a cancer warrior the first day. That's like saying, oh, I was in an abusive relationship, and telling all your trauma right in the beginning. You want to get to know them. Let's see who they are first. Because as my girlfriend says all the time, you know, we have the power and we give it away. So just have fun with it. Get to know the person first. Don't shut yourself off. I have some, you know, cancer warriors are like, I'm done. I'm not going out. Well, I'm sorry. I enjoy sex. I am vibrant. So until the day I drop dead, close my eyes, they burn me.
You gotta sweat some kind of way.
However, I know I have to work up to that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it doesn't mean that I can't be friends with someone. And they understand that. And then when that time comes, if they're still there, right? Because if you're not going to be around, I don't need you to start dating me anyways, because I don't have the time to waste. Those of us on that journey, we don't have time to waste on you.
That's why I think friendship's so important. Who you can talk to, who get you, who love you. And also giving yourself that grace is important. Mm-hmm. And getting mental health, not because you feel depressed, because we all need that mental hygiene. We all take a shower daily, I hope, or every other day. But taking a shower, brushing your teeth, you know, just doing all the things that you do is important. But that spiritual and mental hygiene is so critical. And I just want to thank you for sharing with me today. You just are so graceful in your sharing. And I know that you're in your healing as well. You're in it.
And I would like to share, I've changed my verbiage. I don't allow anyone to call me strong. And I will not call anyone strong again. I will not call a woman strong, and I especially will not call a Black or brown woman strong. Because what I have found, it has allowed us not to reach out for help. Mm. Because if you are so strong and then you're asking for help, then you must be weak. And so instead, I've changed the word to resilient. I had to think about it. My grandmother, Alice Presley, who was taught by Mary McLeod Bethune-Cookman. So, you know, I come from good stock. That's what she would always say. You know, you're resilient. You're going to bend, but you won't break. Mm. And so my foundation is in
That gave me
God. My
chill bumps.
strength is in God. But I'm resilient. I'll beat you every time with that. Because you can, I'm a bob and weave. Sometimes I'm going to get hit. But you're never going to knock me out. You might knock me down, but you won't knock me out. So when we tell ourselves we're so strong, no, we're not. I'm weak every day. I'm in pain. Not every day, but a lot of days. Just because my body has its own mind and is spasming. My vagina spasms in pain because it just starts, I guess it has its own mind, and my team had to share with me your treatment. You don't remember it because you were under anesthesia, but your body remembers.
It does.
And so give yourself grace. It's okay to be weak and cry. It's fine.
I love that resilience. What a beautiful, beautiful conversation. And I just admire your resilience and your honesty. And I feel like for us to heal, we have to be able to discuss things that are not comfortable or not, things we want to hear, but they're part of life. And so know that you can get through anything with community, with sisterhood, with support from your community. You're still here, you are loved, and most of all, you are resilient. Thanks for watching. I'm Maimah Karmo, and this is Breathe TV.